Hi, I'm Cash, and welcome to Cash Talks Football, where I break down all the goals scored in the Premier League. Using my over 20 plus years of coaching experience, I give you a real insight into football, not some ex-idiot pro who didn't know anything about the game when he was on it, and now he's paid extraordinary money to just tell you nonsense. So today we're doing Liverpool against Arsenal, and we're going to talk. There's so much to go over here, to be honest, and how Klopp got this wrong. And there's a little bit of, there's so much going on in this game, to be honest. And if you've listened to any of my Liverpool videos or any of that before, I always call Virgil van Dijk the most overrated centre-back in the Premier League because he is pretty much overrated. Ever since he's had his injury, he's just never been the same player in my book. And you can see it here. I've paused it right here, and we're looking at the straight line of Liverpool defending, okay? So you're looking at your back four, and we're going to talk so much about why Klopp's got this wrong, and he's playing Trent Alexander-Arnold, which I think he's a fantastic footballer, but not defensively. And in this game, and the other thing is he's been out injured for quite a while. If he had a consistent run of 3 or 4 games and you're playing Trent, you go, yeah, okay, brilliant. But that other young kiddie that they've been having, I watched one of their I think it was the FA Cup game or something, he's brilliant, defensively brilliant, he holds the shape, but what he gives, what stability he gives is the centre backs, Canine and these other guys don't have to come out here and do this job because they actually have a right back. With Trent, you don't have a right back. We're going to come on to a little bit more about that decision. I was trying to look for some better highlights as well, but I just really couldn't find any. YouTube's flooded with idiots playing FIFA and calling it the Premier League. Oh, it's so frustrating. But what I was going to show you is Trent was playing quite high up on the right-hand side, and this guy, Joe Gomez, was sitting in the middle because I watched a bit of the first half of this game. So what that really means is Gomez is in here, and he's the one that they're trying to play the ball to. Well, he's not a ball player. That's Trent's the guy that can spray the ball anywhere across the field, and they weren't doing that. That's why I was saying Klopp got this wrong. Unless, of course, they were trying to hit Trent on the diagonal, which they did once or twice, and then Trent play the ball in behind. But that wasn't what was happening. And the reason Liverpool really couldn't break Arsenal down is because Arsenal was sitting back defensively, so they weren't giving him much space in behind. And then, because what they're really doing is they're playing like a 4, one with Declan Rice, and then kind of Jorginho, and then the other 4 are really, because Havertz and Odegaard weren't really in midfield, they were up front as like another line of 4. So Liverpool were having to pass through that line of 4, which they couldn't really do because there just wasn't enough movement in Liverpool's midfield. So the only way that they could really bypass it was going over the top of it. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is with spraying passes from Van Dijk or from Trent from the back. They were letting Van Dijk have the ball at the back and letting Canine have the ball at the back, saying, go ahead, try to find a midfielder, because you can't. So the other option Klopp could have done was drop another midfielder closer to, I think they had McAllister back there, and having those 2 players then pass and move through the 4 that was the front, the Arsenal's front line, but they didn't even try to do that. And they just got caught out all over the place. Arsenal dominated them tactically and just were by far the better team than Liverpool on the day. But that doesn't take away that Arsenal's goals scored were because of complete and utter mistakes from Liverpool, especially Van Dijk and Alisson. And I do rate Alisson as a goalkeeper as much as I think Van Dijk's useless. I do rate Alisson. I think he's quality as a goalkeeper. But we're going to look at Van Dijk right here. He's in all sorts of trouble right now because as a centre-back, he's the only one in the middle of the field because his other centre-backs got caught out. Because Trent's over here playing, right wingy thingy, whatever he's doing. Now, he's in all sorts of problems because he's got a player that's shifted in behind him. Now, what you'd really want to do tactically if you're doing this is defensive midfielder would be coming over to deal with this player, not your centre-back. But the centre-backs come over because you've got midfielders over here. They're so far forward here in this, and there's no real cover, and that's why I'm saying Klopp kind of got this wrong because both of these guys were playing, just too far forward with Trent on the field. Because without Trent, it's fine because you've got a real right back. With Trent on the field, you can't afford to do this sort of stuff. Well, you can against Wolves, you can against Crystal Palace, but you can't against Manchester City, you can't against Arsenal. So they're in all sorts of trouble. And as this ball goes to get played here, look at Van Dijk and Canate. Look at how far these 2 centre backs are apart from each other. Even if you're playing as a back 3, remember you're not really ever playing as a back 3. You're playing with 2 high wing backs, so that your left and right wing backs are always trying to cut back in. So this. Not only are they too far apart here, bump, right? They're not in line. Why does that matter? Well, because that means there's a gap here. That means there's a massive space here that they're going to exploit. That's the reason you play a line. Okay, so as this ball comes in, he steps forward here to go and mark this. Now he's just completely caught in no man's land. He opens up this space here. Remember, like I've always... If you go to win this ball here, you must win it because you're in the centre of the field. The space is more important than the football this far up the field. Past that line there, the space is way more dangerous than the ball, even probably to about there, because you can still back up here and stop the ball being played in from behind you. If you step forward here, you're in all sorts of trouble, which he is, because he's just given them a free run at goal. Like, he should know this. He's supposedly one of the best centre-backs in the world. Why are you challenging? You let the guy have the ball there. You do not care. You get back and keep your line solid. But he doesn't do that. And because he steps forward, opens up that gap, now he just gets a free run at goal. Bosh, off he goes, and away he goes. Now, starting position from the keeper is quite good. He's already aware of what's going on. But again, it's all because Trent's gone forward, Canate's gone to the other side, Van Dijk's left in the middle on his own, he panics, steps forward, gets caught out and isolated, and it's all a complete mess. And it's funny thing, it's not because Arsenal have made 3 or 4 good passes that have pulled Van Dijk over here or whatever that. It's just tactically, Liverpool have got it completely and utterly wrong. In we come here for the shot, bump, messes it up. Quality, it's got to be Kai Havertz who does that. Comes to Saka, and he's not missing, and he gets it, puts it into the net box. All because of Liverpool just tactically completely and utterly wrong. So one of the strengths Liverpool have had this season, especially watching all their goal breakdowns, is they don't necessarily hold on to the ball for too long. If there's space in behind, they put it in behind straight away. That's why one of my favourite players in the Premier League is Darwin Núñez. He's not playing because he's apparently injured, but he's just chaos incarnate. I love him. He's just such a idiot. He can hit the post. He can score worldies. He can do anything. He's brilliant. It's brilliant fun to watch. But Liverpool are really good at putting the ball in behind on the space and then trying to get after it and then trying to pin the other team in the other half. They couldn't do that this game because they couldn't play the ball into the space. This is one of the first times that they were able to do that with a half-decent ball. And even then, it's not brilliant. Now, this guy here, quite frankly, I didn't know someone told me he was 28 or 27, 28 years old. I thought he was much younger, this wee chap. He's not really that good at the football. He's one of those players that you look at and you go, oh, he's good. But what did he do? Did he cross the ball? No. Did he score a goal? No. But he looks really good because he's got lots of energy. His feet move really quickly. He's got a bit of a dribble on him. But there's nothing else there, if that makes sense. It's like, okay, well, what have you done? Well, nothing. I just had the ball. I looked kind of good with it, but then I lost it. Okay, great. But in this situation, he does actually create a little bit of a chance here. Comes through. But you see how he loses the ball so easily, where he's actually got in possession of the ball when it comes and drops to him. He's got his body between the ball and the defender. He's actually got possession. It runs away from him because his touch isn't quite good enough, and he doesn't really anticipate the role. Defender does brilliantly. Just keeps him out of the way. Bodies him. He keeps fighting, and this is why that guy looks, a little bit better than he is. Because I'll tell you one thing: as much as I don't rate him as that good of a football player, he does work hard. He does put in a shift, and he will give you his all. Gets a little poke, a little bit of a handball as it bounces off and goes in. I'm so happy they didn't give a VAR decision, and they just went, yeah, carry on and play. There wasn't many idiot VAR decisions this weekend, but I'm sure they'll make up for it next weekend. And the ball goes into the back of the net. Arsenal, here's the interesting part. I think at this point in the game, I didn't watch all of it, but I did, skim bits of it. This was the only time they were really under a bit of pressure, to be honest, just for this little goal here. But they soon, got one back, and then the whole game changed. They're going straight through the middle again. Bosh off the ball, the ball goes straight through. You've got 2 centre-backs. So what should really happen here is you're looking at one centre-back challenging, and the other one's getting behind him. Okay? So what do you mean, Kesh? What do you mean challenging with the ball? Right, so one's jumping up and winning the header. Bump. The other one is running behind for when he makes a mistake. You're always anticipating your mate to make a mistake, because if you do that, you're going to be a good footballer, right? Because if you trust him that he's going to do it perfectly, the one time he doesn't and you didn't cover properly is the time that they're going to score a goal, and that's exactly what ends up happening here. Watch Canate as he stops running. As this ball goes, look, he just casually stops running. He goes, Van Dijk's going to deal with this. Okay, but he doesn't. And that's what you can't afford to happen. You have to play 100% of the time. Otherwise, you get in all sorts of problems. Now, quite frankly, this is why I think Van Dijk's a little bit overrated. How many of these mistakes has he made in his career? Not many. Recently, in the last couple of years, it's been more and more. Never used to do this, but now he does. But lets it bounce. He's looking at the keeper. And there's a bit of a miscommunication here, because you can see the keeper, he's actually starting to move forward. If the keeper stood still, Van Dijk's probably just going to pass it to him. But because he's moving forward, I think Van Dijk's thinking he's going to come out and catch it. I don't know what the communication is between these two, but I don't think there was any, to be honest. I think they're trusting each other a little bit too much and not talking. Now, Van Dijk's trying to body him, right? Which he should be able to, quite easily, and let his keeper come and just clear the ball out. I don't know what the call is here, but he just completely whiffs it. And remember, if Canate had just come in and covered properly, he would have been here as well. But now he's not. Van Dijk, the most overrated defender in the Premier League, still has an opportunity to clear it. Doesn't, puts it bump into the back of the net box, and that changes the whole momentum of the game. That's a mistake from Alisson, mistake from Van Dijk. And now here's the other thing, is like Alisson makes another mistake for a goal in a minute as well. Now if you said that Alisson was going to make 2 mistakes in a goal in a game that was going to cost you the game, right, you go, oh okay, we can have one of those this season. What if he has 2 mistakes? It's going to cost. Well, you'd rather him do it both in one game than cost you 2 games, if that makes sense. I know you'd rather have it not happen at all, but if he's going to make 2 mistakes, you'd rather them both be in the same game. You can wash your hands of it and go, oh, it was just one of those days. They were better than us. We got our tactics a bit wrong. We made a couple of mistakes. Let's get on to the next game, boys. That's exactly what you'd be saying. There's not really much to say about this goal, to be fair, because Canate had been sent off by this time. Liverpool were all over the place. And this is why I say when Klopp's kind of got his tactics wrong, when you've got these 2 kiddies playing a right back, because you've got everything completely wrong. Someone's come, got sent off the field, and you've got Thiago Alcantara playing centre back with Van Dijk, and I don't know what this young kiddie's name is, playing right back. You're just going, oh well, something's gone wrong in the game, then, hasn't it? Like tactically, we've messed up somehow. I think he's just too keen to get Robinson and Trent back onto the field, and he should have carried on with the same team that's been dumpstering through teams, but he didn't. That's called, I don't know, well, I know what it's called, but yeah. Right, as we go through, we're going to watch Alisson's little other mistake. Bosch, there's no way he should be letting this goal go through his legs. Absolutely no way, but he does. Bosch, I like Trossard as well. I think he's a quality little player. I wish he would play more. Go straight through his legs, but when you're having a bad day, you're having a bad day. And Alisson seemed to have a big bad day. Well, I'll see you next time on Cash Yells at Bad Premier League Footballers.